Alright guys, here we go. We got our Caestus assault ram here. We're getting ready to paint this up. This is all primer coat. We primed it in black. We're going to paint it black in some other colors. But you got to see, like, you know, first, before you go to painting, you've got to do stuff like get rid of that right there. There's a fingerprint right there. It'll come out really bad on the final edition. There's some hairs right here from my cat, which have to go. And if you look down here, the primer coat didn't actually get into all the cracks. So we just got to touch that up before we get going to make sure that we get a good coat on the model so that we could work with that. What we're going to be using is we're going to be using some of the military paints from Badger. We have the military Raven Black, and that's what we're going to use to paint it. And we have to decide what other colors that we're going to use. And so what I'm thinking is we've got the Melt-A-Guns here. We're going to use some copper type color on them. Back here, gray with some metals. Maybe some blue inside the exhaust. We've got metal here. The rocket pods will probably make a different color. And then up front somehow, I don't know if we'll go with the hazard stripes or if we'll go with some white, but something to make it pop. But you got to think that Raven Guard, they're subdued, they sneak in places, so possibly not white. Maybe we'll go with a different colored gray to set this off, and then that's what we'll do. And I believe we'll probably go with the little hazard stripes up here somewhere, and then we'll call it a model. Probably our Raven Guard symbols back here or on the doors. And then that will be that. I don't know if you guys have one of these, but this is a just a spare flight stand I have. I use it for painting. That way I don't have to guck up my my normal flight stands that I use for playing. So there you go. Alright guys, check it out here. What I've done is I've put some colors on, some base colors. I've got the aluminum for the engines. And if you notice, there's overspray. And it's okay because black will cover every color there is. Unless it's a seriously thin layer and a very bright color underneath, you might get a little bleed through. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something called reverse mask. I'm going to mask off this, all this right here. And then I'm going to spray the black again with the same color that we used before. So basically what that's going to do is going to lock down the seams. I'm going to lock down the seams here. And then all this highlighted, all this high area that's supposed to be black, it's got a little overspray on it, will then go ahead and be filled in. This area back here, we're actually going to tape off. And then we're going to take care of this with a wash. And we're going to do a few washes on here, and we're going to also do some different metal colors to make it look like these little engines have been heated up. I really haven't decided if I'm going to do the blue in there yet to make it look like it's flying. I don't know. We'll check it out. But so far, so good. Pretty happy. I think that the subdued pattern, I know that the lighting is not that great, but I think that the subdued grays with these is good enough. With the only thing that's going to be really standing out on the model is the Raven Guard emblem, and I just haven't figured out where I'm going to put those yet. I'm thinking right here, maybe right here, or something. Oop, there's the phone. Alright guys, here you go. We've got it all taped off. We're going to use index cards up here and around the back to make sure that it no paint gets there. But this is what I was talking about, reverse mask. You know, all those areas we oversprayed will now come back with the final coat of black, and it'll take care of all the overspray, and everything will look sexy. So that's what we're going to do next, and then we'll be ready to move on to a little brush painting. Alright guys, here's an update. I've been painting on this a little bit more. We got done with the airbrushing, like I had showed you. We had masked this off and fixed our edges, and then I went back and we painted these silver, and I went to edge highlighting the model. And so what I used was this brush right here, and it's a Vallejo Torre brush, I guess. Anyway, it's got a fine point, and what I did was I didn't use the tip of the brush, I used the side of the brush, and then I highlighted the colors. You know, these are grays here. The highlights on the black are grays mixed with the Space Wolf gray, so it's a little bit more blue. And then, so I went around and edge highlighted all of that. There were some places that needed some touch up, like here, and I just went back over with the original black. But once we gloss this model, and once we, you know, we're gonna gloss it up so we can put the decals on. Then we're gonna end up giving it a wash, and then we're gonna flat coat it. But this is what we got so far. I'm really happy with how it's turning out. I don't know how it's going to translate to the video, but I think it looks really good. What we have to do now is I need to come in and paint the headlights. So you got lights here and here, and then you have lights here, here, there, and over there. We're going to paint those probably blue and white, you know, blue with some white highlights. And then we're going to that's when we're going to gloss coat it. We're going to do some more weathering also, and I'll show you that in a second. Because you check this out right here. Here's the engine compartment. That's 10 Blitz and then some silver. What we're going to do is come in and we're going to put a Devlin mud wash, and then probably a black wash first, and then some Devlin mud, and get it all mechanical looking. Then we'll pick out some of these little dots here after we're done with that. That's about all we've done so far. We have a little bit more to go. I plan on sponging some wear on these down here, because you got to think that when this thing shoots a spaceship and it comes in and lands, it's gonna scrape up the metal around the outside. We might do some on the wingtips. We're for sure gonna do some on the doors, but not inside here, because obviously that we can get all scraped up. And then that's about it for now. So once we gloss coat it, we're going to put the Raven Guard decals here and on the other side. And then after that, we'll flat coat it, and then that'll be that. So stand by, let me do some more progress, and then we'll come back and check it out. Alright guys, here we go. We're looking at the Caestus now, after I have taken a sponge and added some weathering to it. We've got just some silver. You know, this thing's been bumping around out in space for a little bit, so it's got a little wear and tear on the paint job. We airbrushed in some Vallejo smoke to add in some effect. You know, now keep in mind we haven't washed these engines yet, or the gun, so there's going to be more detail pop out when the wash happens. But, you know, I think the effect's good. I have gone ahead and sealed the whole model in a semi-gloss with Tester's Model Master semi-gloss. And we're getting ready to apply the wash. First, we're going to apply the decals, and then we're going to apply the wash. And so, I think it's really starting to come together pretty good. I didn't go too crazy with the sponging, but you know, heck, if you attack ships in orbit, you're going to lose some paint. So I don't think this is too beat up. I think it's appropriate. We also painted the headlights blue, and the little lights up there blue. I kind of wanted them to pop more. I may go back in and put a little white on them with some blue tint. But let's come back after we put the decals on and take a look, see what she looks like. Alright guys, what we're going to do now is we're going to put some decals on, and what we're going to use first is Micro Set. If you don't know what this is, it helps your decals set in place. It gives you a little time to fiddle around with them before they finally lay down. And then once they're done, if you use the system, it makes them look more like they're painted on, especially if you're trying to go over details and stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to film me putting on the decal, and then we're going to fast forward. We're going to go fast forward, but let me tell you the process. Take a Q-tip, get it wet with the micro saw, rub the area right here, and then take the decal, put it in the water. So as soon as the decal floats, you put it over here on the micro set, use your handy dandy X-Acto knife, and you slide it off, and it will be right there. And then we're going to use a little bit more micro set, rub it over the top. and then we're gonna let it sit there and dry. So let's see that happen real live and in person. So first, drop the decal in. Decals only require a few minutes. Let me take the marker that. Alright. Smells like vinegar. I wonder if you can hear Rascal slurping on there. Slurp, 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 slurp. I don't know. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright guys, here you have it. It's the Caestus Assault Ram. I've done the final steps, which were to basically apply a wash to some of the silver parts. Then I gloss coated it with some Model Master semi-gloss, and then I applied the decals. Then I sprayed semi-gloss over the decals again. And then I applied some Army Builder flat coat. And so this is how it turned out. I'm very happy with the way it turned out. It turned out really good in my opinion. I'm going to be happy to fly this thing at Texas Gamescon. Full of Raven Guard troopers whooping butt on people and such. So let me know what you think of my Caestus Assault Ram. And leave me a comment below. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my page, subscribe to this YouTube channel because I'll be posting up many more videos next in the gate. For Texas Gamescon, I'll be painting a Raven Guard Thunderhawk, and I'll start videos on that probably next week. But for now, this is Aardvark signing off with my Caestus Assault Ram. Let's take one final spin and check it out. Oh, for the base also, I'm eventually going to put it on a secret weapon miniature base. Just trying to figure out how I'm going to do that, because their bases have acrylic rods, and the center balance doesn't work too well with this thing. But there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Check back next week for some more from my Aardvark's Hobby channel.